Welcome one, welcome all to No Tact Talk. It is a great day in my house again. This is the third week of the Zoom call, so hope everybody's enjoying this awesome sound quality, this awesome time staying indoors. I love this particular part of my life because even during a pandemic or even during a world, stage crisis event, I can still do it and live my life. So that being said, hope you enjoyed last week. We had DJ on, Jarvis. He talked to you about a little bit about finances. So I hope you guys reach out to him because he's an awesome asset. But to bring it all together, I thought I might bring my other brother on the scene. And again, I don't just bring people on here. And I bet you it's funny because everybody's like, how many brothers and sisters does he have? Well, the people that I bring on here, we family, okay? So we ain't friends. We either brother or we just not cool, right? You know what I'm saying? So I got my boy Patrick on here. Before I introduce him, as always, we are in the No Tact Talk environment. The only rule is to have no tact and to talk it out, right? Hope everybody's doing good out there. Just always a reminder just to wash your hands. Not going to explain how to wash your hands because you should have been doing that in the first place. All right, without further ado, I got my boy Patrick Warren here. He's here as a realtor today. But he's not just any realtor because anybody can get a license and go do the thing, right? But he comes with a special set of skills, right? The Liam Neeson of realtor, or realting, whatever you want to call it. But he's also pretty much a grinder and entrepreneur, and what it's like to just have the whole concept of a business man. You meet him, you see him stuff on Instagram. Hopefully, after you listen to this, you could just kind of tell. You see his videos; it's all over YouTube, giving examples and showing houses. But he has that stature, right? Because anybody can be a whatever, right? Anybody can go to school and do whatever, right? But you have to have that stature. How tall are you? Like 6'4", something like that. 6'3", tall, long hands.
Or 6'4".
He demands a presence, right, when he walks in the room. So welcome, bro. What's up?
Man, not much, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, brother.
Yes, got the chain on. If y'all see this on the video, bro, I'll put it on YouTube as well. Got the suit looking fresh. He's at the office right now. This is a Saturday when we're recording it, so the job never sleeps. So he will.
It does not. It does not.
What's up? How's life been going, man? How's life during all this craziness and whatever else?
Man, it's actually been holding pretty steady. Once again, just want to thank you so much for the opportunity to be on here. As you already know, brother, I am truly, truly proud of everything that you are doing, and it's just a blessing that you are able to be a blessing for so many other people. So, thank you there.
I'm happy to be here because what's important, especially about you and DJ, are y'all able to give something back to the people. And right. So, this isn't like the ultimate masterclass of buying a house, but I feel like even having this conversation will be just an eye opener for everybody who just kind of even thinking about it. Because we all want to, have that equity, that mortgage, or what I'm saying, that house, the longevity, right? But I think about it myself. I would have one myself if I wasn't moving every 3 years. I would try to get a house myself, but I don't have nobody to keep it up. I can't just be buying a house every 3 years, right?
Understood. So no, you're absolutely right. This is just an opportunity to have that conversation. Like you say, there's so many people who either should be thinking about making that purchase, or people who are already involved in home ownership that should be looking at investments, like you were saying, ROI, return on investments, but also don't sell yourself short. Just because you're moving every 3 years does not mean there's not an opportunity there for you to be able to do something within your city or community that can make an impact. You'd be very surprised how just owning a property and actually being a good landlord could be helpful. You could be a blessing that way. So yeah, absolutely excited.
Yeah, it's all good, man. He's at work, so y'all hear some background noise. It just means there's money to be made.
Right. I apologize.
I wanted to first of all get into, not in your business, but how, because when I met you, you weren't doing this. Well, you weren't doing it, right? Am I mistaken? You weren't in this area space. You've been doing a lot of stuff. When I was thinking about doing this, like, man, you've been in almost every industry that I could think about. So when did the grind really first start? Like, how did it come up? Because everybody doesn't have this, right? Everybody doesn't have that just innate ability to just go out and get it, right?
I'm just blessed to have the type of mentality that I do have. For the most part, it's just about having a full-time job and a part-time hustle. You have to understand that multiple streams of income are the only way that you can really find true success. You'll find that in a lot of amazing books. I won't give any examples just yet, but yeah, it's all about reading, understanding who you are, trying to surround yourself with individuals that are like-minded, such as yourself, Jonathan, that allow you to grow and people you can feed off of. With that being said, I got a lot of great friends, a lot of people that I look up to, and I've seen a lot of growth in myself because of the help that they've given me. So first off, to kind of jump back to your original question about how everything has been going with the pandemic. So COVID-19, of course, is crazy. It's not something we were prepared for in any way, form, or fashion, but yet you have to adjust. And being a realtor, you have to adjust at all times because you wear so many different hats. You are always on top of it, you're always having to be on top of it to really be of value to your client. So with everything's going on right now with COVID-19.
Hey, you can go tell them, bro. Go ahead.
Hold
I
up,
don't
dog.
care. No, for real. Go ahead.
Hold up, dog.
This will be an ad. This is funny. I'm gonna leave this in here. So Patrick is at his office right now, and this guy that's just super loud for no reason. He had to go tell him to be quiet. What happened, bro?
All right, back at it again.
What happened? What'd you tell him?
Oh, that I was a part of greatness right now, and that it needed to. No, for real. I just asked if he could just write it down.
So you're saying about how we're having to adapt and how we're having to, deal with this, something that's new for everybody. How has it affected you, like in all this?
This is something new for everybody. So for one, the safety precautions, like you said at the start of your show, wash your hands. These are things you should have already been doing from the beginning. But as you are an agent, you're going into other people's homes. I would say before COVID-19, that was not your first concern. You do have to understand that when people are trying to sell their house, it is show ready. It is spick and span.
Yeah.
So on average, you don't have to worry about that, or that's not your first concern as soon as you walk into a home. But right now, that's completely changed. We have completely new protocols in place, even sent down from the CDC on how to actually properly show a home. You have to disclose if you are selling your property, if anyone in the home has any type of sicknesses or illnesses that could be a problem with the COVID-19. So it has changed some things, but as far as selling properties, it has actually remained steady. So overall, the market itself, everything under about 250 to 300,000 here in the Birmingham area, anything under 300,000 has remained firm. The problems that we're seeing is things over 510,000 because of the access to jumbo loans, because when the banks reacted to this, they kind of took away some of those options. But here in Birmingham, our bread and butter, what really churns our economy here is definitely that 300,000 and under. So that has remained steady. A lot of new construction is helpful because obviously you don't have anyone occupying those properties, making it a lot safer, really easy to kind of access. Same thing with the vacant properties. As long as it's been maintained well, we don't have many problems with that at all.
Okay.
We are seeing some issues with elderly homeowners as well as homeowners with very, very young children, just because you don't want to bring in too many outside factors into their home. So you have seen some slowdown in that area, but just not overall. So it's a blessing that we're able to still kind of keep it rolling.
So you're able to kind of make do, adapt to the situation, still grind it out.
For sure.
Okay.
For sure.
So what does it look like for someone to even start thinking about buying a house? Because I think everybody ultimately wants a place of their own, but what does that look like in layman's terms? Like, okay, how can I actively start thinking about buying a house? Before I talk to anybody, what do I need to be in general?
Correct. So first off, it's good to have a relationship with someone like myself, which is a real estate agent or broker, or a mortgage lender. So traditionally it starts with someone reaching out to a realtor. The realtor will then ask a couple of questions and try to connect.
Well, no, I mean financially.
Absolutely. Yeah.
To be ready.
Yeah. All right. So hands down, to get yourself ready financially.
Before I come to Patrick, right? I'm serious about buying a house. Like where at the minimum should I be to be able to have a serious conversation?
Right. So the first thing I'm going to ask you is, do you have a consistent job?
Yes.
Consistent bank account?
Yes.
And are you currently renting or or are you just living with a friend? Because documenting kind of exactly what's going on is going to be the important part. So, for example, if you're renting, making sure that you have the check stubs or the money orders that actually show you pay
So you
rent.
need to have your paperwork in order for everything.
Paperwork is going to be the most important thing. Communication is going to be key. After that, of course, you're actually going to need to have. So yeah, I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So after you have your paperwork for showing that you're paying rent as well as your utilities, the first thing you got to do is really just be on top of your bills. It's truly important that you pay your bills. I mean, obviously, that's what's going to allow you to either get the best interest rate or the best credit score. You to be able to have the best experience while purchasing.
So my question as well is, like, I'll give you an example. When I was working at the debt collection agency back in Alabama, working for a debt collection agency is crazy, getting cussed out every day, hanging up on me. And so it's so funny. The people that I would call, let's just say I was working there for a year. If I called them in January, they hang up in my face, but they'll call me back in like November. Same person, same account, because it'd be like my account or whatever, right? I'm trying to pay this off. I'm trying to pay all this stuff. And I was like, what changed? Well, I'm trying to buy a house. Oh, okay.
Exactly.
And so that's when I started learning. So like, I think something that's scary for people is, well, because we'll go back to the conversation from Jarvis, like the amount of debt. So like, we'll start with student loans, right? So are student loans like a big deal, or is it just like how do y'all look at those in buying a house?
All right, so I'm going to actually approach it from another angle.
Yeah, go for it.
So this is how it should be done. Like I say, first thing you need to do is find yourself a realtor. You need to find someone that you can trust, someone that you can talk to, because communication is going to be the biggest thing about this entire process. It can either go as smooth as oil, or it can be very, very rough.
So if you're lying off rip, you mess yourself up.
See, exactly. And that's exactly where I'm headed. So after you meet a realtor, or you meet me, Patrick, at Patrick the Beham Realtor on Instagram. After you talk to me, it's my job to connect you with the mortgage lender unless you're prepared to pay cash. If you're not prepared to pay cash, I can connect you with the mortgage lender. It's our job here to make sure that we offer you 2 to 3 options of mortgage lenders, once again, so that you feel comfortable about the transaction. This is your decision. This is your money. I tell everyone, you are the person that's worked hard to put yourself in this position. So I want to make sure that you feel comfortable throughout the transaction. After you've selected a mortgage lender, you vetted them how you feel, it is imperative that you do not lie to them. Why? That is crucial, because first off, you're going to have to prove these documents at some point. Second off, if you lie and you are able to get, for example, pre-approved or pre-qualified for an amount that's higher only because of your lies, then that's going to make it difficult when it's going to make it difficult for your realtor when it's negotiating time.
So this is contract. So what are some examples of some lies that you've seen? Like just like income, like what? Like give me an example of how I can lie.
So your income absolutely is an easy way to lie. Second off, your position. If you're commission based, but then you're also maybe a W-2 employee, but you don't mention one or the other, that can cause a problem. Once again, the mortgage lender is here to help you through your financial questions. I tell all of my clients all the time, I refer to the lender as the money man or the money woman, because they can help you in any way as long as you're upfront with them. It may delay you a week or 2, but that's much better than you not saying anything and getting to that closing table and finding out you're not able to. So
you're nervous when people are like in a rush, right? So they come in, I'm ready to do this right now. I'm ready to do this, and you just like, right? It's like when people trying to join the army, they come in saying, "Hey, I'm ready to do this right now. I'm ready to go overseas, and I'm like, "Okay, let's just slow this down." And then once we start
look at the big picture,
peeling away the onion, you a felon?
That's why you so ready.
You killed that puppy 3 years ago.
Literally, or like you have some people who may try to file bankruptcy after being approved. So I mean, there are a lot of dynamics.
They're trying to kill 2 birds with one stone,
and
get the house, then just Oh man.
There have been some amazing stories because well, actually, we'll talk about that a little later.
Okay. Yeah, we
So
gotta hear
yeah,
some of those stories.
we got to hit some of those stories for sure. Crazy stuff though. But all right, so after that, you've met with a lender. The
Okay.
most important thing is that what's going to happen is you're going to fill out a mortgage application.
Mhm.
So the mortgage application nowadays you can get that sent to you through an app or a link that can be sent directly to your cell phone
Mhm.
or your email address. When that happens, this is when the rubber meets the road. This is the truth part about the process. It's okay to not feel like you're perfect. There's so many people out here in this world.
Yeah.
You're not the only person that has ever missed a payment on something. You're not the only person who's ever been delinquent on something. And I guarantee you're not the only person that's been in collections before. But it's
Mhm.
about us stopping right now and putting together a plan to either one, get you out of that situation and into a more prosperous situation,
Okay.
or two, just find out a way to get those items removed if it's capable. But once again, these are things that your lender will be able to inform you on. So as you fill out the mortgage application, it is going to run your credit. And, that's a
Hard
lot of things
hard
that people
credit.
are,
Hard credit pull.
it is a hard inquiry.
Okay.
But at the same time, you have the right to search for a mortgage. It is not like a car when you go and sometimes, it's going to be 9 different
Oh
uh,
man.
credit pulls just because, from one car lot. So it's also based on, of course, your credit score. Your credit score is not the same as your auto credit score. It's
Yeah.
also not the same as your store credit card credit score. So these are things
Mhm.
that you have to take into consideration, which is why it's imperative that you talk to a lender, and once again, a lender that you can trust. Um, During that application process, trust me, they're going to ask questions like, how much is in your bank account right now? How much is in your savings right now?
Mhm.
Once again, do not feel scared or shy or too proud to be honest, because
Mhm.
you're going to have to show documentation. If there's
Anyway.
only $500 in your bank account, it's only $500 in your bank account. If you've got $36 in savings, you only got $36 in savings.
Am I buying a house 36,000 savings?
No, not just yet, but you will be surprised on what can be
Yeah.
done based off of you just actually being honest and being
So does
able
that
to
mean
see the
less
big picture.
house, or what? I'm saying, like, how does that look if I'm in like a not a terrible situation, but what's the worst situation I could be in and still buy a house? Just give me
That's a
like a
little,
ball. Give me a ballpark. Let's
well,
just say I
actually,
got like. Go ahead.
well, yeah, it's changed a little bit now just because of COVID-19. I mean, literally because of what's going on right now, unemployment.
Yeah.
Unemployment is going to make it where it's going to be a little tougher for banks to lend money,
Mm-hmm.
or it's going to mean it's more of a risk for banks to lend money. So they're going to require more more
Collateral, down
skin in the
payment. What?
game,
Oh,
correct,
okay.
collateral for sure. But for example, prior to COVID-19, a 640 easy
Mm-hmm.
could get you
Okay.
qualified. Now,
Really?
literally I think maybe 2 Mondays ago,
Mm-hmm.
uh, a 700 is what one particular bank jumped from a 640 on a
Mm,
Friday to
that's
a
a big
700
difference.
requirement.
Jesus.
Exactly, but that's once again because of COVID-19. We do hope that these numbers can go back down a little bit, but at the same time, we can still get you there, no matter what. Just as long as you have a proper game plan. Now, worst case scenarios, uh, that's a little more difficult to explain,
Mm-hmm.
but I say nothing really can stop a good plan. And if you have a credit score of 601 or higher,
Okay.
it's worth talking to a mortgage lender
Really?
about putting yourself in position in 6, 9 months to be able to purchase a home.
Okay.
It's not as impossible as you think sometimes.
So what do you reckon? So even for like me, like, the army pays for it, but my rent is stupid, right? In Austin, Texas. So like I'll be pretty much your average a mortgage with like $800-900 ish, or how does it work? I mean, for like a medium sized regular house.
Right. I would
They,
say,
they
for
always
example, a house at 126,000, I think
uh-huh.
average mortgage is about 650. For 180,000, probably talking about
Well,
825.
still, because they always say like, why is mortgage always cheaper than the rent? Isn't that crazy?
It
You
is
might as
absolutely
well just
crazy.
buy a house anyway, right?
Exactly. But unfortunately, a lot of people, and crazy enough, actually, sometimes rent can ask for even the same credentials as purchasing a home, or
Mm-hmm.
even stricter credentials. So, once again, a lot of people just don't try because of being fearful, I am always pretty quick to talk about how for the millennial generation, we kind of grew up trying to keep up with the Joneses so much
Mm-hmm.
that what happened is we became fearful of kind of telling the truth, or either felt that we had to know it all already. And if we didn't, we just don't talk about it. So you'll have
Mm.
someone that is literally been on a job for 5 years, completely capable of covering their rent every month, but never even inquired about trying to purchase a home. Maybe because uh, their family isn't as informed, or once again, just scared to ask the appropriate questions, or may not know who to ask.
Why do
Because
you
of
think
this,
people are afraid to buy a house, in your opinion, or to even
uh,
begin?
I don't think it's afraid to buy a house. I think they're afraid to feel vulnerable for about 10
Mm.
minutes. It is 10 minutes of a conversation where we're going to ask you,
Just getting
are
your
you
business.
are you as
Yeah.
serious as you say you are? Because once again, credit is a
Is there a
show of,
whistling behind you? You hear that? Like a wind, like the air on?
I don't hear it.
He's like, ooh.
Oh, no, I don't
I'm
hear
being
that.
for real. Like,
No,
oh
I
man, I'm
feel you, but I
tripping.
don't hear that.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. What are we saying? Credit?
Yup, credit. People scared. 10 minutes of whatever.
Oh, correct. So 10 minutes of a person being vulnerable can really, really change their life if they're just dead serious about wanting to change.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest thing is to know that after you have laid out everything that's going on, because your credit score is just your credit score, and it can only go up if you help it. And by doing nothing, it's going to stay the same or continue to go down. And one conversation can really change it and turn your life around. They always talk about homes being a part of uh, generational wealth,
Yeah.
and that's something that is important for the
Okay.
future.
So I filled out the application. I went to got approved.
All right.
Now,
So
what
right.
is a healthy percentage rate? We always talk about percentage rate. So like, what's something that you, hey, don't take it. It's a bad idea. Like, if you hear this, run away. Like,
Well, right now, I mean, we're still at historic lows. I mean, the average percentage rate right now is definitely under 4.5, and that's probably on the higher end right now. So 3.5. I mean, these are great, great numbers. And
mm-hmm.
because we're at an all-time low, this is an opportunity to find out if you can purchase. Once again, because of unemployment, rates are going to go up. That's just
Okay.
how it has to work. There's no way around it. So every time the rates go up, it means with your same amount of money, you can afford less house. As rates go down, with that same amount of money, you can afford more
More
house.
house.
So that's why it's
Really?
important to capitalize while the rates are where they are. What
Okay.
goes into those rates, once again, is your credit score. That's what we're talking about. Your credit is a simple fact of showing you, it's the simple proof of saying, I do exactly what I say I'm going to do. I borrowed this from you. I said I was going to give it back to you at this
Mm-hmm.
time frame. If you do that, it can only help you. It can only benefit you. So
So I got
that's why that's so
approved.
important.
I'm all excited. Now, what does a good realtor look like? Because everybody's smiling, everybody got a card. Everybody
Right.
like, oh hey, right? So, what's some key things that a person who's trying to buy a house look for in a realtor?
For one, I think communication. Two,
Mm-hmm.
setting the proper expectations.
From
And
the
three,
jump.
for sure, for
Mm-hmm.
sure. Three, being knowledgeable and continuing their education in the industry, because it is changing every day. I mean, just like rates change every week, it's good to have relationships within the industry with other realtors as well as other
Mm-hmm.
mortgage lenders to make sure that I'm staying on top of it. And then, of course, I would say being a part of the community, because if you're not serving, not giving back to your community, I don't want to say that you're just taking away from it, but you're definitely not helping them as much as you could.
Right.
So I think those factors can really set you apart as an agent. And by being a part of the community, it shows trust. It shows selflessness. It extends itself to your potential clients that you are
Mm-hmm.
here for everyone and for the community. For example, there's a community here, Woodlawn.
Yeah.
It's an older community, but it's coming back thanks to a lot of growth in the Crestwood and Avondale area.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't know that. Thanks for keeping me abreast of the
Yeah, no,
situation.
no problem, no problem. So Woodlawn is the area that I grew up in, a little bit on the east eastern side of Birmingham.
Yeah.
And once again, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, you could have probably bought a lot of the homes over there on average for probably $15,000 to $30,000. Now there are properties over there priced $250,000, $300,000, $355,000.
You talking about $30,000 for a house?
10, 15 years ago, absolutely.
Whoa, that's not, wow. Okay.
Correct, absolutely. And now those same properties have either been purchased, they've been torn down or renovated.
Yeah.
And now because of all the growth and people moving back from the suburbs to the downtown area, it's increased the property value so much.
So how am I supposed to keep up with that? Like I'm thinking property. Everybody always talking about property value. Like as a person trying to buy a house, how do I even know what's a good time and what's a bad time to do whatever?
Well, yeah, I mean, honestly, it's kind of about living in your city. I mean, you go and grow with your city. Excuse me, I should say go and grow. As you grow with the city and as you pay attention within the city, you can already see the areas that you like to shop in or the places where there's a lot of foot traffic. Those are areas, of course, that are growing. So by keeping your eye on that, you can be able to follow the trends just as easy as a real estate agent. But of course, also with that, it's okay to look ahead and try to find the places that have that potential as well, because everything will come around at some point.
Okay. So after I got approved, now what's next? What
okay. So after your mortgage application, you have become pre-approved.
I was already approved though, right?
No. So like pre-approved means that you are providing documents to the mortgage lender and
to prove them approving you in the first place.
Right. So no. So check it. So check it. You fill out the mortgage application. After you fill out the mortgage application, if everything comes back in a decent and order fashion, as far as like your credit, your debt to income ratio, etc., that will allow you to be pre-approved. This is all just from a single application, a link that was sent to you that you filled out.
Gotcha.
You pre-approved. From there, the lender's going to start asking you to verify these documents. Once the documents that come in verify the information that was given, you are pre-qualified now.
Okay, so wait.
Trust me,
we go from pre-approved to pre-approved to now we pre-qualified.
It's really just pre-approved and pre-qualified.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
See, this is why I understand why people are so scared of this. They probably get to the second pre-approved and like, man,
I'm trust me, man. I have had people that say, yeah, I'm so tired of giving documents.
Yeah.
So that's why I agree. It's important that we try to get as much up front as possible.
So it's up to you to make that seamless and explain it the proper way.
Correct.
So at this point, if you're confused like me, right, then you should know either. I think it's on the realtor, honestly, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Because the bank's gonna do what they're gonna do, but if the realtor can't explain to you even the early on type stuff, then let me go to somebody else that can understand.
Right. The first thing I'm gonna tell you to do is I'm gonna say go ahead and get your W-2s together. Go ahead and get your bank statements, like the last 60 days, so 2 months of bank statements, and 2 pay stubs, preferably 3. So by telling you that you're gonna need your W-2s, that means you gotta file your tax returns if you haven't. Doesn't mean you have to pay your taxes. It actually just means that you have to file them. So that's something else that scares people away. They say, "Oh man, well, I don't want to pay all those taxes that I owe, or X, Y, and Z," and that deters them from even trying to move forward. The bank statements. If I tell you ahead of time, "Hey, I need 2 months of bank statements," that means right now you got to stop overdrafting. You have to stop doing anything that will have a negative impact on your bank that will make the lender not look upon your application.
So you said bank statement. So what if I buy too many chocolate chip cookies or something? They can be like, nah. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are they looking for as far as that? Like, what's a bad bank statement?
A bad bank statement, once again, it's just going to be negative account.
Oh, okay. Just major stuff like that. Okay.
Correct. Overdraft.
So I need to make sure. And I'm building this up, right? I hope I'm not messing you off your flow.
No.
I'm building this up. This is for me. So, okay. So before I go talk to somebody, I need to make sure at least like my last 60 days are good. Nothing's negative. Nothing is overdrafting. All the good type of stuff. All my bills are paid and everything is current. So you can have debt-ish, right? But just current. You paying in the green.
You want to be consistent. That's what it is. You want to be consistent.
Consistency. Okay. All right. Now I'm pre-qualified. We're all excited. Patrick standing up a little bit taller now because everything's going through. What now?
All right. So perfect. After that, after you provide those documents,
Okay.
you've already got, this is what I call your number, because once you got pre-approved, they gave you a number stating that, okay, you're good up until this amount as far as to be able to purchase a home.
How much a house?
Correct. 200,000, 180,000, 250,000, a million, whatever that number is.
Yeah.
This is,
and just because it's a million don't mean you need $1 million house.
And that's what I tell people all the time. For one, as a first-time home buyer, I'm not going to let you become house poor on your first property.
Right.
Also, I'm very honest, and I would not let you live in something that I don't think is suitable for you, or that is too above your means just because you're trying to keep up with someone.
So that's you though. That's
Patrick. That's not everybody else.
That's not like every realtor is going to be like, oh, hey, you shouldn't do this because they want that sale. But you,
Some
okay,
like that, correct. That's
what I'm saying. See, y'all heard it first in No Tact Talk. I'm getting the real deal. I think it's important. We talked about that last week as well. I mean, even as a recruiter, I use myself as an example. People know why I'm here. You know, I came to the school. You know, I'm going to the parents' house. Or like Nick Saban, you know why he's at your house. He's trying to get your son to play. But it's still an amount of genuineness and sincerity. And I feel like, you know, kids have this, like toddlers. They know what's a good vibe and it was a bad vibe. A dog knows this. A dog knows if you angry or if you happy. Am I wagging my tail or not, master? Right?
Correct.
And so I think that kind of people, it's an emotional roller coaster as well, but you need to have like that constant. That's another reason why I think I was about to start looking at a house right before I went active duty, but I started going active duty. So like, man, whatever. But I was just so worried about having, hey, let me know who you know that can hook me up. I think that's kind of how it goes like in the agent world, realtor world, right? It's pretty much about word of mouth, right? Because hey, Patrick hooked me up. That referral is like golden. Because it's real hard to just go see a card somewhere and then, hey, bro, what's up, right?
Absolutely. Like the referral is everything because for one, it's going to already give you a sense of security that this person is going to be familiar to you in a way where, like you said, you could be comfortable with that person, probably based off of your friend who you're already comfortable with saying, hey, I think this would be a good fit. And that's the important part. You want to make sure it's a good fit. And funny enough, as agents, even though we work for the client and they have the right to hire and fire us as they feel, it's sometimes appropriate for us as an agent to say, you know what, this is probably not a good fit. I would love to recommend someone else that I think, you know, is a little bit more along your speed, because there are a lot of personalities out here, man. And in real estate, with the transaction so large, it's really important, but you see a lot of personality.
Okay. Sure. So what type of questions do you have? So let's just say I got approved for, I don't know, $300,000.
Okay.
Now, what kind of questions are you going to ask about what type of house I want? I'm not talking about that person that already got their whole dream house home, but just like me, I'm like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like some couple rooms, nice space to have like a little man cave, you know, something simple.
Yeah, absolutely.
You gotta take that, and you doing the footwork, right? Absolutely. I think people underestimate all the stuff that y'all do.
Absolutely. Yes, some people can. Yes, some people can absolutely underestimate exactly what all it takes to do this. And honestly, that's why you'll see like a lot of people come into real estate. They're thinking, oh man, like it's just like TV. All they're doing is this. They get this big commission.
It is not HGTV.
And then, no, it is not. There's so much work that goes into it. For one, you know, we don't get paid until the property closes. There is no check every week. There's no check every 2 weeks.
Right.
You can work with the client for 2 years, and then a week before, you know, maybe 2 weeks before closing, they could say, hey, I got to pull on this deal. And you're like,
you thinking about how to kill him.
Yeah. Not quite. Because
I'm telling you, we're kind of in the same area. We were just laughing about this at my office. Probably maybe a week before this started. So I was working with this man. I was working with this guy almost. It wasn't no 2 years or nothing, but I say about 8 months, and that's a long time.
I can imagine
in the recruiting world. Sure. That's a long time. And so we did all this stuff. He had to have like a waiver, like he couldn't see in one of his eyes. Like everything that could go wrong. had a bunch of speeding tickets. You know, I'm driving him to get these things paid off. You know, his mom was like withholding his birth certificate. Everything that could have went wrong. Yeah.
It's crazy.
And so I'm with you. I said, bro, as long as I got your commitment, I'm with you. Bet. All right, we good. Guess what ended it? I'm saying this is like the night before he's supposed to go, right?
What's that?
His girlfriend. She got in his feelings. She got in her feelings, and he called, hey, Sergeant Coates, man, so and so don't want me to join the Army. I'm like, what?
Yeah, no.
I'm so mad.
That happens a lot with parents as well, for that, you know, first time home buyers, you know, for their son and the guy's mom's right? A single mother, you know, they're so protective, you know, and I mean, or you have the daughter who her dad has to come and see every single inch of the property, which I respect completely. But, you know, yeah, there's a lot of other individuals that can be a part of it sometime. And, you know, it's like, if you're not a key decision maker,
if you ain't putting up the money, I'm gonna need you to back out. You know what I'm
saying? Just a little bit. And
I'm talking to the girlfriend, like, hey, you ain't going to basic training? Like, he'll be back. Y'all love
he
to be
will
strong
be back.
enough.
I promise you.
Yeah, whatever. Now, okay, so what questions are you asking to stay on topic? Okay.
Yeah.
How about a house?
Correct. So the first thing I'm going to say is, why are you looking to move? Of course, whether that's to save on rent, or it's probably to be closer to your job.
Yeah.
For some people, it's closer to family members. So it starts off with your why, because your why is going to help you really, you know, decide what's important to you, because then it's going to go into, you know, the lot size and the bedrooms and bathroom count. But school system is also probably going to be a pretty important issue. Also, are you looking for an environment that does have kids around if you have kids? Or are you looking for a quieter neighborhood? Tell me about you, and tell me why you chose where you are currently, so I can kind of see and learn from that to be able to guide you through your next transition. So we can ask about style of a property, you know, whether it's a townhouse.
So what's like in the trend right now? I know it changes. You might want vaulted ceilings one year. You might want, you know, indoor pool. I don't know. Like, what's hot right now?
Yeah, honestly, I would probably say for millennials, first-time home buyers that are millennials, they're doing a lot of condos right now, actually,
really?
Because once again, you have a lot of growth, and a lot of the cities are coming back to the downtown areas, because here in Birmingham, we have a lot of microbreweries. So because of that business there's a lot of walkability as far as businesses and industries that are coming here. So people don't want to have to drive everywhere all the time. So that's a huge deciding factor. Of course, as you have your family, traditionally, you move out to the suburbs because of the school systems or the community style feel, or to get away from the younger vibes or just the hustle and bustle of the city. So those things pretty much remain pretty constant. And it is a lot of back and forth and, you know, flip-flopping, because as you get older, you move out, and then sometimes you look to move back in as things change.
So is this a rewarding like path for you? Do you like?
Oh yeah, hands down, bro. All right, so
why?
That's what I like to talk about. I love to talk about the customer service aspect of it. So, you know, like I said, in previous industries that we've been in, I mean, I've been everywhere.
Bro, you've been everywhere. I ain't trying to get people in your business, but my boy,
no, for real. No,
P-Town has been everywhere.
But I have a passion though. Like, for example, in my serving days, I have a true passion for giving people an experience that they're going to remember. And also just being a part of something so important, such as helping someone with the purchase of a home. It's ultimately rewarding. Probably the biggest reward I've had was helping my mom make a purchase. 60 years old, she purchased her first home. So for one, that just shows that it is sadly a lack of information about how to do this, and it does trickle down. It took a while for other people to be able to make purchases because of, once again, just being fearful, and also seeing it consistently. I mean, if you're a mom and your grandmother never owned a property, or your dad and your granddad never owned a property, your first instinct is not to purchase. Or I mean, you know, you're probably hoping that you have a good landlord, etc. So it's all about the perception of it. So customer service in this is just something that I truly love. So because of this passion I have for the customer service, I created something called Urreqa, which is Your
Okay.
Real Estate Questions Answered. And it
Hey.
literally allows for people to feel like they have just as much knowledge as a person who uh, is almost a real estate agent. Because if I'm involved in these transactions every
Yeah.
single day, every month, it's my job to relay that information over to you. And if I can do that, you can feel like you've got something in your arsenal when you are talking to a realtor or a mortgage lender, or you can say, I heard this. Does that sound right? Or I heard this. Is this true? Because
Hmm.
there are a lot of facts and myths about buying um, that can just
What are some myths?
be completely refuted. Well, for example, like if you have absolutely no credit at all, like a
Yeah.
zero credit score, like you're
That you
young,
can't buy a house.
you can buy a property. So for parents that have, 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds, prior to them getting that store credit card, call a, no, don't call a realtor, call me. Call me. Let's
Right.
connect you with a mortgage lender. Let's talk about some options that can change their lives starting here today.
So you
There,
saying house before credit card?
well, yes, I'm saying house before
I'm just
credit
asking.
card,
Yeah.
if possible. Certainly house before a car, if possible. Now,
Really?
this age range that we're talking about,
That's
when I
some
say
boss
house,
moves, though. I think people are gonna be like, man, that sounds really weird
and
because
it's going to sound
it's
very
going
tough
against
for, yeah,
everything that we know. That just proves it. What is that book I'm reading? Unlearn. You have to unlearn a lot of things growing
very
up from
true.
what what you've seen. So the fact that you're even saying house before a car,
Yeah,
if possible. I mean, obviously everybody's situation is different, but that's the
correct.
mindset you
Because
need to have. You need to be racing, towards that house to have that equity, that land, right?
that's exactly right. Because once again, especially house before a car, you
Mm.
know, trying to keep up with the Joneses. I mean, I personally have had cars that I definitely should have waited on for another five,
Yeah.
10 years before I'm driving something like that. But I didn't. And what that does to your debt to income ratio, it throws it completely out of whack. That allows you not to be able to make that home purchase. Where if you just did it the exact opposite house, you can go to a car dealership and they're happy to give you a car because
Hmm.
you're proving yourself worthy. And that's what it's about. So not quite don't get a car at all, especially here in Birmingham. We don't have like a true um, public transportation system. So here, at 16, you have a car. I'm not saying don't have a vehicle. I'm saying
Don't
don't
go out and buy no Range Rover
don't
or
go
no
out and buy no Range
Mercedes.
Rover, no Mercedes, no BMWs that you can't
Yeah.
really afford, and you're only doing it just to keep up with the Joneses. And then in 2 years, you're gonna be trying to do the same thing again. Because I promise you, the same people you're trying to impress now, it's a good chance, depending on your age range, they
Mm.
might not even own a home yet. And by you owning a home, I like to tell people that's the ultimate flex because it's yours, something that cannot be
Man.
taken away, and it's also factual. It's the actual factuals of you have proven yourself. You're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing financially, and you are a man or woman of your word. And
Yeah.
that's some of the most important things. So
I think that's what is so important, man. It's great that we're doing this, but as me and you talked about this a bunch of times. It's just creating that legacy.
correct.
It's just creating this stuff. I hate to say it like that, but just like creating that whole, like, as for me, coats concept.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
gonna have a house. I'm gonna have it. I'm gonna pass it down. It's all about that next generation. It's all about building that wealth. The Warren name, the Coates name. It's just about a legacy thing. And even one of my sisters, she just got a house, and that was a big deal for her as well, just by
Hmm.
herself, right? It says something
It
because
does. It
it
does.
says a lot to when people say, "Oh, are you renting?" Oh, this is me. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Oh
Like,
no, no. This is mine right here. Like
it's,
you don't have to ask anyone if you can
yeah.
have a pet. You don't have to ask anyone if you can paint your front door or your
Listen,
wall in your bedroom, or if you want to change your stove from electric to gas. I mean, these are your options. This is what you can do. And
hmm,
also, a couple of things that people think about. They say, okay, I don't want to buy a house because there's so much maintenance on a house.
yeah.
By renting, I got a landlord, I got maintenance
They
people.
could
They're going
just
to
fix
come,
it,
they're
right?
going to take care of it. Well, we all know from renting that that is never a quick
It
thing.
ain't always the case either.
It ain't always the case either.
Yeah.
Exactly. But the beautiful thing with purchasing, there's something called a home warranty. A home warranty is almost like your personal maintenance man, which
Okay.
is really cool. So At the close of your transaction, if you have a great agent like myself, we'll ensure that the seller is buying you a home warranty for your first year in the property. That
Mm-hmm.
home warranty is going to cover just about everything you can think of, from air conditioning units to the refrigerator to the microwave, washers and dryers,
Mm-hmm.
pipes out in the yard. I mean, literally, it takes care of anything that's to happen while you're in the property for the first year.
Okay.
Now, on average, this probably costs about $750, I would say, for a property under about 5,000 square feet.
Yeah.
And it does come with a service call. So a service call means that you'd have to pay out of pocket $75 or $100 for them to come out and
Like
provide
a
the service
deductible.
for you.
Yeah.
Correct. It's
Okay.
kind of
But
like
it's
a
still
deductible,
better
but
than
that's
two
it.
grand for a new whatever.
Correct. I mean,
Yeah.
I've had multiple buyers be so thankful the fact that we were able to get them a home warranty because maybe the air conditioner went
Went
out
out.
in
Yeah.
the summertime, and for them to have to do it themselves would have been about $4,000. But
Mm.
because
They
it
had the
was under home
insurance.
warranty, it only cost literally $75 or $100 because
What?
they have to come out and try to make those repairs.
Mm.
If they can't repair it, they have to replace it, and that's a gift, and that's something really
So
special.
what
And
am I looking for? When I'm going out to look at the property. You picked a good property out. Like I heard, like foundation. You making sure what is like stable. I make sure the house is stable. Look like how do I
yeah,
know if the
see,
electricity is good? Like do I need to
so
like buy call somebody like come with me? Is that a good idea? So just like a
so
maintenance guy or something.
right. So the process of it is after we have your number. So
Yeah,
as you said earlier,
300,000.
350,000,
Yeah,
300,000. All right. So what we do is I compile a list of properties in that price range with some of the specifications that we've mentioned, whether it's a 2-car garage or
yeah,
whether it's a nice front yard, whatever you're looking for. I compile that information for you. I send you a list, probably a list of probably 10 to 20 properties. I'll
yeah.
tell you to probably pick 8 out of those properties. So we kind of continue to narrow them down. As you pick the 8, we'll find the property of, we'll find whatever that you like. If it's not in those 8, we'll continue to look.
Yeah.
Let's say it's the second one out of those 8. So we pick a Saturday morning to go look at some houses, or anytime you're available to go look at the house. We check all 8 of them out that day. You say, Patrick, man, I really like this second house. I think I want to make an offer. This is where it starts to get serious. So
Mm-hmm.
like you said, we were looking at house number two. House number two, because you and I aren't general contractors. So we're looking for the things that appease us and please us. So it looks like it checks all the boxes. Now, after you make that offer, there is something called an inspection period. Once your offer is accepted, we have an inspection period ranging between 7 to 10 days. It
Okay.
varies kind of based on how busy the market is right now,
Yeah.
because who you're hiring is a home inspector. A home inspector is certified. He's going to come out
It's
and,
a
like you
neutral
say,
party.
yeah, correct.
Okay.
Yeah, correct. He's a neutral party, but I guess he's not really neutral because you're paying for him. But he's going to be honest because
Well, I
he's
mean,
here
I
to
don't
make
pay
sure
for
he.
no guy that worked for you, right? Not
No, absolutely
not
no.
saying I don't trust you. I'm just saying like I would still even we had the best support in the world. I don't want nobody to work for Patrick. Or, I got somebody I can recommend. No, I want over there. You know what I'm saying?
Correct. Right. So that's what it is. Again, just like with the mortgage lender, we give you
Yeah.
options, because I'm
Okay.
going to say, Jonathan, do you know any home inspectors? You're going to say, of course not. I'm going to say, all right, well, here's a list of 5.
Mm-hmm.
You can call them, you vet them, you see what their prices are, you find out who you're comfortable with, just like the lender. It's all
Okay.
about your comfort level. So we pick a home inspector. After that, we schedule the home inspector to go out to the property, and he will do a full inspection. He's going to provide an inspection report. Traditionally, they get them back to you that evening or the following day.
Mm-hmm.
We go through the entire report together, and in that report, as you stated earlier, are there any foundation problems?
Right.
We would see that. Is there any problems with the plumbing? Is there any problems with the electrical?
So what if
Uh,
there are problems? Is that for me to be like, all right, take 10 grand out this house now?
See,
Is
correct.
it okay? It's like a
No,
negotiation period or
that is our negotiation period. So at the point during the inspection period, you have the right to either ask for them to make repairs. You can either accept it as it is,
mm-hmm.
or you could just say, you know what, looks like too much for me. I would like to just walk away. And
Yeah.
so if that happens, everybody is made whole. So it's just like nothing never happened. Just like nothing ever happened.
That is
Okay.
crazy. That is
So,
crazy, man. So at
so
any
right.
point in time,
So
bro, it's just gone. You just out
it could
of
just stop. Like you could be
God.
like, oh man, this is the perfect house. Like we finally got it. Like, let's go check it out right now. I mean, no, I could tell you just the other day, I had a family that was interested in a property
Mhm.
that just hit the market that day. We saw it that day. We were willing to make an offer well above what they were asking for. But that inspection though, it was not
Tow it
going to
up.
be worth it. So it was like, you know what, let's just pull back on it. And so as excited as you are seeing something online, after you get in there, still may feel great about it, but then you see the inspection report, that is really going to tell the truth, because they're there to check the things that we can't see, because
I
for
guess like
one,
what, like water damage or termites or what?
well, traditionally, you could probably see water damage, but yes, there are some times. For of course, here where we live, there are a lot of basements, a lot of crawl spaces.
Yeah.
This is a very humid climate, so
Yes, it
because of
is.
that, there can be moisture that can build up below the uh, the floor joist in your crawl space that
What?
can create, water stains or even mold. And those are the types of things that the inspector is going to be able to go in and say, hey, this is what's going on in the places that you can't even see. And
Okay.
so this is what needs to be done to remediate it. And they give their opinion there. And then once again, it's my job as the agent. I take the entire inspection report and I ask if my buyer has any true concerns about
Okay.
what's in here. Everything that my buyer would list, I would write down and send over in an addendum to the selling agent and the seller stating, hey, from the inspection report, this is what we found, and these are the things we would like you to address and, to see if we can move forward. And sometimes a seller will be willing to make all the repairs. And that's always a great, great feeling because
Mm-hmm.
you're working with a good seller and they want the
And they
new
trying to
home
sell that
buyer,
house, so they should be, yeah.
right? But they also want the new buyer to feel comfortable in it because there are some that's like, nope, take it as is. And it's like when they respond like that, it makes you feel a certain type of way about continuing with the transaction for hundreds of thousands of dollars. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, if you're acting like that about this, like
You already kind of know
it
how it's
just
gonna
don't give
play
me warm
out.
and fuzzies, right? Right.
Yeah.
So so that's important. But also, you could have a seller that's like, hey, I'm out of town. It's not my house. I don't live there. It was my mom's house, et cetera, et cetera. What we're
Yeah.
willing to do since I'm not there, just take this amount off of the property.
It is what it
So
is.
that's when the negotiations can come in, and you can do a little bit negotiating here and there. So
Okay, so I got the house. Well, I say, hey Patrick, okay, I'm cool. Let's go ahead and get serious. I want this house. And then that's it, right?
well,
Or
I
am I
wish.
missing something? Okay, see how
Right.
I want the house. You think it's over, but it's not.
So exactly. So it takes on average 30 to 45 days to close on a property. So meaning from the time that we actually get a contract accepted, it
Oh,
takes about 30 to 45 days to close on the property. Closing on the property means that you sign all the documents and that day it's yours. Like you walk away and you're now a homeowner.
oh wow.
So during during that time frame, after you put in an offer, the first thing that you must do prior to that offer is accompany it with earnest money. Earnest money, of course, is skin in the game. It's showing that
Like a
you're
down
dead
payment?
serious about the offer. The
Okay.
earnest money does go towards your purchase, but it's not considered a down payment because depending on your loan, you might actually have a down payment. For example, if you have like a FHA loan or conventional loan, sometimes it would allow you to put down 3% of the purchase price,
Okay.
and then the bank funds the 97% that's left. So for simple math, 3% of $100,000 house would be $3,000,
Right.
and the bank would loan you $97,000.
Okay.
So that's that.
And so you get
So
that. Go ahead.
right, yeah. So on a purchase of $100,000 house, your earnest money will even numbers. $1,000 is
Yeah.
the earnest money that's going towards the property, but it also is just a part of the contract to let the seller know that they're dead serious about making this offer, because if you pull away from an offer with no real reason, like non-inspection reason, but just you wake up one
You
day and
lose
say,
your
you know what,
money.
you lose your earnest money, right? Because
Okay.
earnest money, it is to say, I'm serious,
I'm
because
for real.
a person's putting up their house for sale.
Don't be wasting my time, dog.
This is important. Exactly.
Yeah.
There could be other buyers out there. And at the same time, this could be quote unquote contingent upon me making a purchase of a house. So I don't need to, to deal with someone that's not going to be serious about it. And then
Yeah.
when I actually find the house that I want, they're like, well, you know what? I'm not going to buy it anymore. So now I can't get the house that I want anymore because they didn't buy my house. So it can get a little
So it
hairy
could be a lot of
sometimes.
shadiness out there.
That,
I'm sure you see a lot of
bro,
times. So
also,
give me an example. I
bro,
want to hit it. Give me.
forget that. First
What?
off, forget that, man. It's about me educating,
Yeah.
once again, my first time home buyers, especially the youth, that this is a contract. You do not just get to say you're going to do something and walk away from
Big
it.
boy rules. Big boy,
This
big
is
girl
dead
rules.
serious. People lives are hanging in the balance as far as, are they going to be homeless or not? So it's
Yeah.
important that everyone stay in constant communication and be serious about the transaction. But that's why you go through the pre-approval and the pre-qualification, because if they're willing to do that, for the most part, they're going to be able to push all the way through, unless something like COVID-19 happens again, which we pray it never does.
I know, right?
Because that's definitely an unforeseen circumstance, and people are pretty understanding about that. But outside of that, it's it's a real contract. There's dates and signatures and money involved. So please take it serious.
That's when you put on your best suit. Like, hey, realty. So you
Let's
said
go.
Urreqa, right?
Correct. Ureqa.
So I know we talked about before. You're doing a set of videos to pretty much do what we're talking about today, to take people step by step.
Step by
It's
step.
it's not as hard as it seems, right?
Correct.
To
Correct.
buy a house. So like, it's kind of like how we did today. Let me see if I can remember. Hold on. Wait. It's my test. So first of all, I get from the plug. I go talk to Jimmy. Hey, Patrick hooked me up. Got the referral. Okay, going to talk to Patrick.
All right.
Then Patrick, we have a conversation. We have that 10 minutes of vulnerability. Okay. And then you find me a mortgage lender. Okay. And then you give me a choice of mortgage lenders so I can
Correct.
feel all good about it, get my 2%, 1%, whatever, right? Then so important to note, don't lie on the application.
Very true.
Don't have any debt. I need to make sure my bills are paid or really are current. It's okay to have some debt, but just make sure you're current on all of that. But your debt to income ratio, all right, it's good. So what, 70-30, 50-50, what?
I'll be happy to go over that in another
Okay, so he's gonna be on one of the
conversation.
videos. There you go.
For sure.
So am I doing good so far?
Yeah. Well, yes.
Okay, so then
About a 91 so far.
right. All right, lost point. So then I get the number. I get the number from the bank.
Lender.
This is called the lender.
Mortgage lender, correct.
No Tact Talk Lending and LLC. Right. So then I get the number and then I'm pre-qualified or no. I feel like I'm losing now. I'm at 81 now.
No, you're not at 81, but yes, you are correct. After you've been pre-approved, then you would have your number. And after that, that's when you and I get together and start actually looking at properties.
And I found the property, everything's been inspected. I give you my $2,000 of earnest money, and after 45 days is mine.
For the most part.
Okay.
I mean, there's still a little bit. Exactly. Honestly, though, the hardest thing, the most important thing for the buyer to know is to be prepared before we start the process, which is, once again, I'm going to tell you about your W-2s, your pay stubs, your bank statements.
And this is all in Urreqa. This is all you kind of explaining it more detail.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. So you have that. After you have that information, you will pretty much put yourself in position to be able to purchase. So you fill out a mortgage application gets approved. You get a number from the lender. She tells you how much house you can afford.
Mm-hmm.
From there, that's when you go to your Zillow and your Realtor.com and your ArcRealty.com, and you find properties that you're interested in, also you're having the conversation with me about what you're looking for, and I send you properties that you may not have access to. Okay. So
Okay.
then after that, that's when we actually go to physically see the properties. You find something you like, you put an offer in on it. Once the
Mm-hmm.
offer is accepted, you go from there. You provide earnest money because that went with the offer. Next is the inspection, because you got to make sure you still want the property
Right.
based off the inspection. After that goes well, then it's time for you just to chill. But behind the scenes, there's a lot of other things going on as far as title work is being done. Your
Um,
documents are headed to underwriting. In that same mortgage department is headed to underwriting. Underwriting means that pretty much all the information you gave the mortgage lender,
yeah.
there's a whole nother department that has to be able to agree with the information that she's taking from you, and they should be able to see the exact same financial picture that she has portrayed or he
Yeah.
has portrayed that you had gave them. So that's all happening at that time. Of course, ordering additional inspections, whether that's septic inspection or sewer inspection. Um, like I said, there can be just a couple of other factors that's going in the in between time. But for you as the buyer, it's pretty seamless. And all I'm doing is probably calling you 2-3 times a week, give you an update and letting you know how everything's moving forward. As long as you're getting your documents to the lender, we should be rocking and rolling, like you said, and closing that 45 days.
I really feel better now. I feel better about buying a house. Just with you. Don't trust somebody else.
You shouldn't. You
That's
shouldn't.
the
You shouldn't.
problem.
But yeah, man.
Go ahead. For my people that are listening, you are not just in Birmingham. Like, you can pretty much be across the whole country, right?
Yeah, man,
That was,
that's a cool part about the amazing company that I work with. First off, Arc Realty, I think is just absolutely spectacular. Led by Tummy Brigham, Bo Beavis, Dale McIntyre, and Michelle Wilder.
mm-hmm.
Some of the best people on the planet. And Arc itself is known as a leading RE. So it's a global network. So pretty much leading what leading RE is, leading real estate companies of the
Mm-hmm.
world. So what it is comprised of independent real estate firms worldwide whose combined sales volume surpasses like pretty much that of the world's leading
Yeah.
franchises. So this network is only open to companies in the top 5% of their respective markets. So that means we're in the top 5% of what's going on here in Alabama.
Heck
And
yeah.
that's why we're able to do that. And literally the moment that a property goes online, there is capability for it to be accessed, whether you're in Dubai, whether you're in Beijing,
Oh
whether you're in
wow.
Saskatchewan or Prince Edward Island, you can literally purchase or have access to us. And also we can assist with those purchases. So for example, if I have a great friend, Jonathan, that's moving to Houston, I can
Mm-hmm.
say from all the information that we've had, all the great conversations, I can connect him with a lender and an agent that fits the criteria, just as if it were he and I doing it here
Oh,
in
that's
Birmingham.
dope. That's
So it's all
dope.
about that level of
We
comfort.
worldwide, baby. Yes, you heard it here
Internationally
first.
known, Freddie Tiffany.
That's it, man. That's awesome. Um, I really do. I actually do feel better. I wanted to have you on here, especially right after the financial conversation I had with DJ as well, because it's so important. And I think for me, um, how do I put it? I just like, it's so important, man, that younger people know that it's okay, it's not scary, right? And that you can do it. You can go
Absolutely.
out and you gotta get your ducks in a row. You know, I mean, I acting crazy, but you can do it. You can buy that car, you can buy that house, you could be successful. And I
Absolutely.
think it's platforms like this. We always see, right, every couple months, our best friend, I just bought this house, God was so good, second and third. Yeah, God is great, but it took a lot of work, you know. And
Absolutely.
so the question
Absolutely.
I pose to everybody who's listening is, are you able to put in that work? Are you able to get your finances in order, to get your credit straight, to quit buying unnecessary stuff? I had a whole period I was just buying like drones. DJI got all my money, right? Because I you know what I'm saying, I had to step back because I had a lot of stuff I wanted to do. And I'm glad we're in a position to do that now. I wish I could buy a house right now. But I think a lot of people are just scared, and hopefully everybody kind of glean, like, because I think it's really anxiety in that as well. It's just, like you
Yeah,
said,
like I
that
say,
10 minutes of vulnerability and not
that's
wanting people in
really
your
all it
business.
is, man. That's all it is. So that's why, honestly, in real estate, you have a lot of people. So like myself, for example,
Yep.
I do my best to express to my friends that as a realtor, I do not know your financial information at all.
Yep.
That's between you and the mortgage lender. Now, anything that you want to tell me, you're welcome to tell me, but that is only up to you. The lender can't go
Mm-hmm.
around telling me stuff. It doesn't work like that.
Okay.
So a lot of people are fearful to let their friend help them purchase because they're thinking that, oh gosh, now Patrick's going to know everything,
Mm-hmm.
or I'm going to feel vulnerable. I know I've always dressed in nothing but the finest, but actually my bank account doesn't really show that.
Right.
And that's okay. I mean, because once again, you're not the only person to do that. You're not the only person to think like that. It's just
Yeah.
about being realistic, being a little vulnerable for just a moment, have the conversation, and we can come up with a plan that can get you there in, like I said, 6 to 9 months. And I'm always open to help.
That's what's up. And so, any final thoughts on buying a house? We touched a lot. I know you probably go back to work and do your thing. Thanks for
Oh, no,
taking
you're
the
good.
time out. Any final thoughts that we need to hit before we get to the scripture?
Yeah, for
That's
sure, for sure.
it's a token segment here at No Tact Talk.
No,
The
absolutely.
scripture at the end.
I think there's a couple of things. Like, so as far as buying, as far as some tips, when you are making an offer, your first offer sends a message. And once again, it's important to listen to your real estate professional or
Okay.
Patrick. You listen to us to help
Preferably
you,
Patrick.
right, to help you make the best decision, and to approach the situation with a cool head, and also be open to other options. There are multiple ways that we can all get to the same goal in one transaction, but you just have
Don't be
to be open,
stubborn.
able to listen. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Of course, after that, check those inspections as we spoke about, whether it's a septic inspection or the home inspection.
Yeah.
Just because your brother's a contractor, don't think that you can just call him over here and he's going to be willing to fix something. It don't work like that. Make sure it's something that you are ready and willing to deal with. Once again, I'm not going to let you get into anything probably with any foundation issues,
Yeah.
anything like that, because I don't want you mad at me in a year or 2 years or 5 years, and say, I can't believe Patrick let me do this. So I'm going to give you all my personal advice, but also all my professional advice as well. There are closing costs that you must account for. Closing costs are a part of the transaction. It,
Mm-hmm.
it, it costs to purchase a home.
It
I
costs
think
just the
that's
clothes on
important.
a home.
It costs just to close on a home.
What's
Once
included in
again,
closing costs? Like
well,
a brief
well,
example.
I mean, it's everything from half of the attorney fees, half of the title fees. There could be prorated taxes involved. It could be title insurance involved, hazard insurance involved, and these are definitely things that are probably
It's
worth
just
another
stuff to
segment.
cover you.
A lot of stuff to cover you, but also to
Yeah.
cover the bank, because it's origination fees. So for the bank to even create a loan, it costs the bank already, which is why you may hear sometimes banks don't like to really create mortgages for properties under
Yeah.
about $40,000 to $50,000, because it actually costs them to create
To
a
just
mortgage
do
for
it.
you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So once again, it's a business for everybody. So that's something to consider, that closing costs matter. And like I said earlier, rely on your real estate professional. You're not alone in this, and that's what it's about. I said it earlier and I'll say it again. You've done all the hard work by putting yourself in position to
Yeah.
be able to purchase. Let me make it smooth for you. Let me make it easy for you. Just enjoy the journey. Something else I like to talk about, of course, is the cost just of out-of-pocket expenses. We spoke
Mm-hmm.
about the documents that you would need, but also, for example, that earnest money. That's an out-of-pocket cost that's going to be due the moment that you
You ready
say,
to go?
I want this house. You
Dang.
need to have a check, a personal check ready to be written within 3 days of that offer being submitted.
So
If
is that
not,
usually like
it's not an
around
offer
what,
anymore.
2 or 3 grand, or
Not like for
$500? What?
so from 0 to 100,000,
Mm-hmm.
I do $500. earnest
Okay.
money is what I would request the
Okay, so it's
buyer.
just kind of like that. Yeah, every time you go up.
It's
So okay.
incremental, correct? And then 100,000 to 500,000, probably a
So you
thousand
need
to
really
three
need
grand.
all you need is earnest money and you need down payment.
Inspection.
Okay, earnest money, inspection.
Inspection is going to be about 350 to
Okay.
375 for
Okay.
any property under 5,000 square feet. So that's out of pocket, and that's no refund as well. Remember, earnest money, you might be able to get that back. Home inspection, you will not be able to get that back at all, non-refundable. Also, after that inspection, you have an appraisal.
Mm-hmm.
Appraisal is about 475. The appraisal, of course, is paid by you to the bank. The bank is going to send an appraiser out to the property to make sure that the value holds. So if you're purchasing something for 150,000 or
Yeah.
300, like you said, then you want to make sure it's valued at that. If it comes in more than what is listed at,
Mm-hmm.
then that's what you call having equity, instant equity. You now have that value in your home. So if it came back at 320, but you only paid 300 for it, you got $20,000 in equity. On the
Okay.
reverse side of that, if your house is $300,000 that you're trying to pay for, but it only appraises for 280,000, that means the bank is only willing to give you $280,000 for it. So then myself, the agent, would go back to the seller and say, hey, house did not appraise for the 300 you thought it was. So the bank's
Yeah.
only willing to give 280. You'd have to sell it at 280, and they really can't do anything about that. So now you have a house that is less expensive. So
Okay, man. That's see, y'all getting these nuggets. I'm telling you, I told him last week, I'm gonna start charging.
no
Y'all
doubt.
this is some free knowledge, right? That's what's up, man.
So yeah, so
Yo,
that's important.
so and I know we can sit here and talk for like ever. That's the whole point. I want people to be able to go and I'm gonna put all your information in the description. Obviously, we're gonna blow this thing up on social media,
For
but
sure, for sure.
I want people to be able to go hit you up, have the conversation, ask those tough, hard questions, and that way you can kind of have a more of a detailed, conversation with them. So this, you can't ever say you ain't get the information, know how to buy a house, because it's right here in No Tact Talk with your boy Patrick, and he could be
Seriously.
all over the country, so ain't no excuses. So
I mean,
I saw my analytics the other day, 3% of my listeners are in Oregon for some reason.
nice. I actually know a couple people in
You
Oregon
know
that
what
I
I'm
went to
saying?
school with at
So
Auburn. So yeah, absolutely.
yeah, roll tide. No,
Warriors,
but
nothing wrong with that.
that's a but wherever you are, it is possible, and so it's just all about finding information, being transparent, and being honest. With that being said, a staple here of No Tact Talk is the scripture at the end. The scripture is based off of our conversation, off of our relationship between me and you. And it just goes off of kind of, I want to make sure that, it doesn't matter what background that you have, but just make sure that people get some word in their system, because it might be the only
Absolutely.
word they ever hear, right? You could be the, I always say, you might be the only church somebody ever sees, but
That's true.
getting the perspective on a, because that's what it's about, revelation. So I can see a scripture, right, and I'll explain in a second, and then you can hear the same scripture and we'll get something completely different. That's what it's all about.
Correct.
Anyway, let me get into my soapbox.
I like it
So
though.
we took it from Patrick today. Usually surprised, but we're going for coming from Galatians 6:9. This is a very, I guess, popular scripture. If you don't know it, now you know. Coming from the English Standard Version. And let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up. So in our particular job fields, the first thing I think about is trust, and it's about being transparent. So God's gonna bless you, I think, for sure. Because I'm sure there's plenty of times where you could just skim some of this, or did some of that, or just let somebody do whatever, something crazy. But when you're in certain job titles, God, I feel like you're held accountable for the position that you're in.
Absolutely.
And so, I mean, I can already say that, man, God's gonna bless you for being honest and for being transparent and for being, just a stand-up guy in this
Thank you.
process.
Thank you.
Because in the world, in this crazy, crazy world, it's hard to find people that you can trust. Like you said, especially when dealing with hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Correct.
So
And like I say, it's not something you do on a daily basis or yearly basis or even
yeah, I
every
mean, we talking
5 year
about
basis.
right once probably highballing it every 10 years.
Yeah,
You
the
know.
average person about 7 years. So that's right on. Yeah.
So what does it mean for you? 6 and 9.
Yes, absolutely. I do love the old King James version. Let us
Hey.
not be weary in well doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. And that's exactly the process from the buying side of it.
Mm-hmm.
Look, it's going to take a little bit of time. It's going to take a little bit of a grind. But if you maintain and you do well and you do what you're supposed to do in
Yeah.
due season, that time will come where you will have everything you wanted and more, and you'll see the benefits and you'll see the fruits of your labor. And the same thing from the actual selling real estate aspect of it. Um, it's important that, like Jay said, that I take care of the people. I mean, you got to be a good steward. And I think that's just paramount. So taking care of the people, having a passion for it,
Yeah.
being dead serious about, like you say, being honest and not trying to do anything that would be considered wrong in any way. I mean, you want to be above board for everything that you do so that you can
Yeah.
have the right response, and also just be a, like I say, continue to be a blessing, because that's where the referrals are going to come from, when people know that, that you're trustworthy, and that, you
Mm-hmm.
know, you can make it simple for them. So sometimes it takes time. We already joked around about not having um, people walk away from the deal after six
Yeah.
months or
That
after
has
two
to suck.
years.
I'm telling you.
So
Don't waste no realtor time. Waste Patrick time.
you got to have faith. No, actually, you know what? I want you to waste a little bit of my time, because eventually we're going to get you there. And I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
mind it, because that's what it's about. There's some people who do only want the right now, right now, right now. If you can hear this, if you're interested in buying a house in the next 2 years, I want you to reach out to me. Let's get you a blueprint together, a game
Bet.
plan. It doesn't matter that you're not ready today.
Mm.
This is the perfect time right now, while you're sitting still. You can be quiet, you can listen. There's a lot of opportunity out here. And also, if you own a home, don't think that's it. Let's get you an investment property. And it does
Mm-hmm.
not take $100,000 to do that. You can also get together with friends. We'll talk about that on another episode, I
Yeah,
hope. But
for
about
sure.
being able to collaborate and creating a real fund where you're able to grow, maybe even purchase an apartment complex together, give back to
Whoa.
your
That's
community,
what I want
man.
to do.
Absolutely.
Hey, I would
I mean,
love to
you
do
can
that.
you can change the game in your area. You can be a true power broker over what's going on in your community because of real estate. Real estate is the one thing they say God ain't making no more of his land, and that's factual. So
Yeah, man, that's good. Yo, so man, I appreciate you. I don't think I know we good, but thank you for taking the time out of your day. I mean, the dude is at work right now. I'm posted on YouTube as well. He at work grinding, so he took time out of his day, man, to
appreciate it.
be on No Tact Talk. God's gonna bless you, like I said, for being like that prime example of being a man of God, right, and holding it down. We'll talk about that all the time. I congratulate you, man. The boy got a beautiful wife at home. She a Alabama fan, proud of him.
Saddest
You know what
thing
I'm
about her, but
saying?
other than
No,
that, she
but
perfect.
you you holding it down, bro, and I congratulate you. I'll say it in public. I don't care. I congratulate you for holding down, being that man, being an example for what right looks like.
No, man,
Okay.
thank you. And that's
Yes.
I said the same thing to you, bro. You are a great example. You and your lovely, beautiful wife, also, man. I mean, I'm glad that we're all friends. I'm thankful
Yeah.
that we were able to be a part of each other's lives, and it's only going to get better, and we're going to keep growing. And I look forward to helping out any way I can. If you need anything, don't
Bet.
hesitate.
And so I know we're gonna put it into the description, but where can they reach you at? All the social medias and everything's.
Yeah. Okay. So Facebook, of course, Patrick Warren, PatrickWarren.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Patrick Warren Realtor. That's the business page. We'd love for you to go like that. On Instagram, at Patrick the Beham Realtor. That's BHAM Realtor.
Yep.
And actually, we're not realtors. We are realtors.
Real tours. Okay.
Realtors. So that's important. But I would love to have you all reach out to me. Also, my cell phone number 205-835-1219. You're welcome to text. I'm happy to respond at my earliest convenience, and I'm excited to help get you in a home.
Hey, make sure y'all put, hey, this is Susie. Heard your podcast on No Tech Talk.
I hear that, but my
So he'll
wife,
know where you're
she ain't
coming
playing.
from.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah, nah.
make sure you heard it, right.
No, okay. Hey, like thank you. The show is over. I know it's been a little long. But I think I'm just gonna make this one episode because I don't want somebody to have to wait till next week just to hear the rest of this, all this good information, man. We're gonna talk again as well about, like you said, investments, getting that apartment. We'll probably have you on in season 2, which would be great. This has been another edition of No Tact Talk. This is always a reminder to keep it real with yourself and have a little no tact in your life. Peace.
Oh man, thank you.